Most people are not living as who they are. They are living as who they adapted to be. It distorted the perception. Your perception is your reality. This is another important key word. The way you see things is your reality, right? And the way you see got manipulated or tweaked by your past. The emotional, the relational pattern that you have can change. Hello, everyone, and it is always exciting to, share my thoughts with you all. So today I want to, just start with something that may sound uncomfortable. So, what if the person you're trying to fix is not who you are? Let me put it this way. What if the person you're trying to, change, transform, or you're really working hard to be someone, if that inner person whom you're trying to fix, if is not even you, what would that feel for you? See, what if your anxiety is not your personality? What if your anger is not your character? Or, maybe let's take your overthinking or your people pleasing nature. You know, if it is not who you are, but simply who you had to become because of something that has happened to you, what would that, look like for you? See, over 15 years, I've counseled more than, 10,000 individuals, couples, parents, leaders, and across age, culture, profession, and status. I've seen one pattern repeating again and again and again. Most people are not living as who they are. They are living as who they adapted to be. You know, that's a painful truth. Painful truth. See, actually, they are patterned. They think the pattern is themselves. See, this is the problem, or this is the tragedy that we are here to address. Let me explain something very important here. When you were a child, actually, you are not cognitively developed, right? You were not thinking logically. So, as a child, maybe around the age of, way before 7, you were just absorbing emotions, absorbing the tones, tensions, rejection, at the same time, care, love, mixed, right? Fear, silence sometime. See, you didn't decide your core belief system consciously, but you were just absorbing everything. The truth is, they were formed, the unconscious beliefs formed because of what happened to you or what you absorbed emotionally, then back then, way before the age of 7. See, um, if love felt conditional in your family, where you grew up, or, I can put it this way, if love felt conditional from your caregiver, you would have learned to perform. Or if your home like felt unpredictable or dysfunctional, you would have learned to control things. If you were ignored, see, neglected, actually you would have learned to achieve. And mostly for some people, like, they were criticized. So they learned to be perfect. But all these adaptations that we made, they were all intelligent, very much brilliant, because it kept you safe back then, right? But that survival version of you, or that survival strategies that you used then, is still running your life. That is the problem. Actually, in this video, I really want to define actually where the problem is. Because most of the time we try solving problem, somewhere else. We focus on behavior modification, we focus on anger management. But the reality is, here is the problem: the survival version, the adapted self, I would say, the survival strategies that you used to cope back then when you were a child is still running your life. But you are now, you're maybe in your 20s, 30, 40, 50s, but emotionally, certain part of you are still responding from a 60-year-old nervous system. And the interesting part is, you call it, this is how, this is just who I am. This is who this is my personality. I'm a very short tempered person. I'm kind of very sensitive, very emotional. See, we keep defining ourselves. I want to say, no, this is how you adapted. This is how you survived. Isn't that interesting? See, this survival strategies are not your design. These beliefs, that got registered when you were so young, okay, these beliefs, they went underground into the unconscious, and now your nervous system, your body, had built it as a personality to cope everything, to cope every minute details of your life. You live your life, basically, based on these unconscious beliefs. I just want to, reiterate this: your survival strategies is not your design. Okay, so here is what most people don't understand. The interesting part is, they may even admit that, yes, I do have a difficult past. They even, accept saying that I had adverse childhood memories and events. But most people don't understand that your childhood is not just a memory. It's just not a memory. It's a wiring. It's a neural wiring. Experience, they do not just stay in the mind, they get stored in your body. Isn't that interesting? Because your nervous system, see, your mind would have forgotten the tone that you absorbed when you were 5 year old. But the thing is, interesting part is, your nervous system remembers tone of the voice, tone of that particular person. It remembers the rejection. Your nervous system remembers. Your biology remembers it. Your body remembers what your mind forgot. So the tightening in your chest, the urgency that in the urgency in your reaction, how you respond to a situation, or the way you shut down when conflict arises, they are not your character flaw. Or sometimes you over explain to prove yourself. See, for example, when your spouse raises their voice, your body reacts before your logical mind does. And likewise, when in your workplace, when your boss gives feedback, you don't hear feedback. You only, your there is a filter which only hears, I am not enough. I am not good enough. And likewise, a famous example, or a routine example that we can say, when our child disobeys. You don't see a child, but you feel disrespected. The child may be just 7 or 8 year old, but you feel disrespected and you fight back, you give back, and your reaction is automatic. It's not conscious, it is an automatic response based on the memory of your body. This is exactly where most people don't understand. When you live unconsciously from your past memories or imprints, and you call that, this is just how I am or how I react, just want to tell you, it is not who you are, it is just your adapted self. and your body remembers it. See, let me say this clearly. I just want to tell you, reinforce here. You are not the patterns that you hold. You are not a patterned design. So if you are not patterned, then the emotional, the relational pattern that you have can change. The interesting part is they cannot change at the surface. It cannot change at the behavioral level. It is not about self-improvement. It is not about positive thinking. It is not about, forcing new habits. Because positive thinking does not dissolve survival wiring, the neural wiring. Motivation does not just erase your unconscious beliefs. And likewise, your willpower, you know, cannot override your nervous system conditioning. Yes, of course, your positive thinking is good. Motivation is, helpful. I'm not against it, but they cannot change your unconscious belief system. You cannot outperform a core belief system. If in deep inside, if you believe that you're not good enough, you have to earn love and you must, be in control to have safety. If you have all these, core belief systems sitting up there, your entire life will organize around proving, protecting, that belief system. You're just revolving around the core belief system. See, this part, this core belief system, and the way that you're responding to the core belief system, this whole structure is what I would like to call as adaptive self, or you can name it as constructive self, or also we can put a word, a protective self. But protective when you were a child, but not at this age. Okay, so your entire life, for example, just because you are living and focusing towards your adaptive self, your success doesn't feel peaceful. Your relationship, feel, kind of repetitive. And you feel exhausted even when you're achieving. See, that's the interesting part. You may be achieving, you may be a successful person in your career, but still you do not feel the peace. You feel exhausted because you are living from adaptation, you're living from survival and not your design. You're not aligned to your design. You were not designed to live in chronic fear. No. You're not designed to, earn your worth. See, these are just, you know, something that happened to you, gave this belief system to you. But this is not who you are. You were designed whole, complete. You are flawless, blameless, and complete. Complete. Interesting, isn't it? See, that's why, the core shift, the program that I have, the core shift is not about becoming someone new. It is not about fixing who you are. It is not about becoming someone. No, it is about recognizing, acknowledging, coming to an awareness or awakened to who you are. In a nutshell, if I have to say what it is recognizing and coming to an awakening that who you are. This is about seeing clearly. You will come to a place where you clearly see, yes, I do have anxiety, but that was a learned behavior. Yes, I do have anger, but that was a protective strategy that I learned. I am a perfectionist, but that was a survival strategy. When you see that clearly, when you see it that it was just an adaptation, it was just that you learned to survive. And when you see it consciously, something powerful happens. Very powerful thing happens. The interesting part is, the powerful thing is, you stop fighting yourself. You stop fixing yourself. You begin to understand and live who you are. See, this awareness, dissolves the unconscious control. This awareness, the moment you come to this awareness, the unconscious belief system, starts to dissolve. See, that's why, in core belief system, we plan to, uh, organize it in 4 levels, because the past, whatever that has happened before 6 years or 7 years, they just not impacted your psychology, it also impacted your biology, your nervous system. Okay. And it also impacted the social connection and your spiritual component, in the sense, the meaning making, just even to understand who you are. Rather, I would say it this way: it impacted the sense of self, a sense of others, and a sense of the world. It distorted the perception. Your perception is your reality. This is another important key word. Your perception is your reality. When I say your perception is your reality, this perception, see, whatever, the way you see things is your reality, right? And the way you see got manipulated or tweaked by your past. So now all that you see may seem real. Whatever that you think about yourself, the way you define yourself may seem real, and you may have a proof, you know, for who you are. Because when you look at yourself, the way you behave, the way you respond, you do have a solid proof. This is who I am. I'm a very angry person. Yeah, no doubt. But that's your perception, because your past had distorted the way you see yourself, the way you see others, and the way you see the world. You clear? Hope you're getting it. Because you are not just a mind, you're an integrated being. It impacted your body, it impacted your psychology, it impacted the social connections, the relationship, and your spiritual domain, the meaning making, the purpose. See, here is the truth. I deeply believe, after years of clinical work, every human is complete by design. You were shaped by experience, but there is a world of difference. You were not created flawed. You were shaped by experiences. That's it. Very simple. A part of me learned to be anxious. That's it. See, but the thing is, what happened to me, I'd become my identity. That's exactly where the tweak has to happen. Underneath your survival, underneath your adaptation, underneath the conditioning that has happened from your past, there is a regulated, wise, flawless, blameless, irreprovable design. That's your true self. Not a perfect self, but a whole self, complete. See, transformation is not about self improvement. And I would rather want to call it as a self remembrance. I'm just coming to my remembrance to see who I am. You are not here to become somebody. You are just aligning to the design of who you are. This is all about the solution. Whatever the problem that you are right now into, maybe relational issues, your emotional problem, maybe you're stuck with your career, or you face like, you don't know, you think that, you're tired about your own self. Okay? You're tired about your own self. No worries. Simple answer is, whatever that you're fighting is not who you are. Don't try to fix who you are not. Just come to an awakening of who you are complete, who you are. Once you come to that awareness, you are starting to live consciously. See, living consciously is not a luxury. That's your design. But the interesting part is, it is your choice. After listening to all these things, still you may think, this is who I am, I know all these things, but still, nothing changes with me. This is who I am. No, it's a matter of choice. I want to, encourage you, make a decision. Just make a choice, just to tell yourself, whatever that I was trying, all this while to fix, to change, or to be a better person, that is not who I am. All that was my past, because of my past, shaped by my past. That was not who I am. I am complete by design. See, before I end, let me give you something practical here. For the next week, for the few days, I would encourage you to observe yourself without judgment. Very, very important. Observe yourself without judgment. Don't judge yourself. Don't, tell you, see, this is who I am. I know. No, don't judge. Don't judge right or wrong, nothing. Just observe. Okay, yeah, I'm getting irritated here. Just be an observant. When you feel triggered, just ask, how old does this reaction feel? How long am I reacting this way? How long this is triggering me? Or, sometimes when you overreact, just pause and ask, oh, what is this? What am I protecting myself from? Do not try to fix it. Just observe it. Just observe it. Awareness is the first shift. When I say core shift, the first shift is awareness. Just become aware. Awareness by in itself is very powerful. Very, very powerful. Just coming to that awareness, okay, this is not who I am. I'm someone completely different. I'm whole, I'm complete, I'm flawless. Isn't that awesome to know something about, ourselves in a different lens? That's your design. That is your design. So, if something in this message resonates deeply, if you feel like you have been surviving more than living your life, okay, so this is just a beginning. Okay, just start with this particular, one thing that I told you. For the next 1 week, or for the next few weeks before I could, meet you in the next video, I just want you to be an observant of your own self. It can be an unhealthy emotional pattern. It can be, the so-called good, bad, whatever it is. Don't judge, just be an observant. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.